in the interest of time, to get you in and out, let me give you a quick introduction. This is Jessica Hapworth. She is our writing consultant, and I think you're going to become the literacy consultant, it sounds like, for next year as well with Calhoun ISD. So we will be seeing Jessica. I do believe we will be seeing you next year here, and some other people. I just got that email about some training I'm going to for next year. So you'll see Jessica. She's been through some of our classrooms. We had a great time kind of just peeking in. So I'm going to shut up and let you get going.
Thanks, guys. I want to just say it was a pleasure being in your building last Monday. I remarked to Michael just how just a nice environment the school is. Kids seem happy, and it just seems like a nice place to be. So thanks for having me last Monday. Today, we're going to look at some writing standards. And when we're speaking about the writing work that you want to go into next year, my first thought was to get just kind of an overview of what are in those standards that our students are going to be responsible for learning. So this is a process called unwrapping or unpacking standards, and I'm not going to take you through the whole process. We're just going to kind of take a piece of it. But as you know, the Common Core standards are like really wordy, and they can be a little bit nebulous, and you can read them and go, okay, so what does that mean? So this is a process to kind of simplify them a little bit into some shorter learning targets so that it's just clear to everybody. Does that make sense? Has anybody ever gone through the process of unwrapping or unpacking standards before? Okay, good. So if I mess it up, you won't know. All right. So I did the first few. What you have in front of you is K5 narrative writing standards. And I did the first 2 pages, and I'm just going to kind of show you the process in which I went through to get those learning targets at the bottom, and then I'm going to have you guys kind of practice at your tables. And then the end goal of today, in the short hour that we have, is to kind of have 1 table tackle opinion, 1 table tackle informational, so that kind of by the end we have some nice clear learning targets for all the writing standards. Makes sense so far? Okay, I'm going to get right into it. So this process, it's from Solution Tree, and they do a lot with like PLC work and stuff. But the way that they outline it is they have you circle the verbs, underline the content, and double underline the context. So when I looked at this kindergarten, this first standard here, so I went through and I just circled every verb, right? That was in there. So narrate, tell, and provide. Did I get them all? So then I thought, okay, so...
Is it drawing, dictating, and writing?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I missed those. Okay. And this one is a little bit tricky. So when I look at the next part, I say, okay, so what is it that they want those students to do that verb work with? What's the content in which they're going to be working? So they're going to be using a combination of, and I thought, well, that's kind of part of it, right? So I'm going to go ahead and include, even though those are verbs, I'm going to go ahead and include it because they want them to use a combination of drawing, dictating, and writing. They want them to narrate. Narrate what? A single event or several loosely linked events. Tell about what? The events in the order in which they occurred. Provide what? A reaction to what happened. Now, this one's tricky, and this is how I figured it out in my mind. Double underline the context. Well, the whole thing is around narrative writing, right? So what I did was I kind of took this part as well, because this is how they're going to be doing it. So they're going to be using narrative writing, but they're going to be doing it with a combination of drawing, dictating, and writing. Okay. So this one's a little bit unique, as kindergarten always is. They don't only use narrative writing, but they can also draw, dictate, and write. So when I broke it up into learning targets, the ones that I singled out was narrate, a single event, or several loosely linked events. And then the context was narrative writing, but it was also that drawing, dictating, and writing.
And for clarification, why not that it matters really, but it's drawing, dictating, writing are not verbs because it follows a preposition, so it's the object of a preposition. So they're really gerunds is really what they are. They're really nouns in disguise.
Yes,
Sorry.
that one was
So
kind
that
of
was your, which is hard when you look for verbs. You have
Yep.
to look at the context of where it is in the sentence.
Exactly. But yeah, for sure when you go to do it, if the first step, it's easiest just to circle all of those verbs. Once you get to that second step, it'll be clear that, oh, okay, that goes with that one. So the first kind of learning target, the first skill that students in kindergarten are going to have to do that I can isolate into a learning target is narrate a single event or several loosely linked events. Okay, that's the first one I pulled out of there. The second one was tell. Tell about what? Those events in order. And then in what context? Same thing. Narrative writing, and they can use a combination of drawing, dictating, and writing. And then the last learning target is provide a reaction to what happened. Okay, that's your ending, and then it's the same context. So for narrative writing in kindergarten, there's really 3 learning targets to pull out of that one standard. Any questions on kind of how I got to where I got with that one? And you can always push back too, because sometimes we have interesting conversations about our interpretation of the standards. Does that make sense? Can I keep going? This next box too, this is just another step in the process, and I'm not going to go into that today. But just to let you know that analyzing that target and level of thinking is the next step. Okay, if you guys will flip, take a look at first grade. We'll do one more practice till it's your turn. I assume this is...
Yes.
Okay. So first grade is a little bit easier. It doesn't have that language that kindergarten did. So, circling the verbs. Circle right. Recount. Include.
Use.
Use.
And provide.
Provide. Right? Did I get them all? Those? Okay. So then write what? Narratives. And whoops, see that one's going in there, right? And we're still talking about that writing, so that's kind of included in that one. Include what? Details regarding what happened. Use what? Temporal words to signal event order. And provide what? Some sense of closure. Okay? Double underlining the context. What's the context of this standard? What's the context? Yeah, but still narrative writing, right? So sometimes those are a little bit implied. Where that one really becomes clear, that context, just FYI, is when you get into like some of your literature standards where it talks about with 2 or more texts. That'd be the context.
So like 5th grade.
Yup. Yeah, that really starts to pop out there. But for today, all of these, the context is kind of going to be narrative writing. So then when I pull up my learning targets, they're writing those narratives. And then what are they doing? Recounting 2 or more appropriately sequenced events. They're including what? Those details of what happened. They're using the temporal words to signal event order, and they're still providing that sense of closure. So in first grade, I pulled out 4 learning targets. Make sense? Ready to give it a shot? Okay. So on the next page is the 2nd grade standards. If you guys want to just, at your tables, either with partners or as a whole table group, go ahead and try to pull those learning targets up.
Recount to lose. Recount. I guess we're only going to use. Right.
Recount.
Use and provide. There's only 3 boxes.
If you need more, yeah, that might have been my fault. That doesn't mean that.
So I'm just going to do use and provide. Preposition, but it's provide is probably more important.
Because it's too
Use, right? What'd you have? You had write, recount, use, but you're not sure what to describe.
And provide. No, provide. Yeah, I got it.
What's provide? Yeah, provide.
Okay. Are we doing describe or no?
Let's decide as a group. You want to do describe or not?
Does it have to describe them?
That
I
isn't
think
actually.
it would just be write, include, use, and provide.
Include?
I
You
think
mean
you're
recount?
I don't think recount.
It isn't really.
You don't think, you
But
think
it wasn't
include.
this one, but I think.
So you
that's-
think no recount,
We did.
right, Shan?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so what will students do? Right?
Narrate in which they recount. They
I think it's
will.
gonna be just right, use, and provide. I don't think including the details to describe actions, that's.
Alright,
what
okay.
we're doing.
Sequence of events, include details,
I think
observations,
that has to be
actions,
included.
thoughts, and
Yeah, I think you
feelings.
do have to.
Use temporal words, single events, order.
I think it's right, include,
Provide a sense
use.
of closure.
Right?
What?
I think that's right, include and use. Yeah, I think it's right, include, use, and provide.
And provide.
I do too.
I
I
think
think
it
it's
has to
four.
be all four.
I think it
We're
is.
missing a box.
We'll make our own.
That was
There's, there's only 3 here.
I was
We're
trying
gonna-
to just
we're gonna make our
really
own.
mess with your heads.
We're gonna
Oh, we are?
We're
improvise.
gonna improvise. And make
Oh,
our
we're
own.
just gonna split it.
Divided in half.
Yep, got it. So it's narrative, right? Is that the first one?
Or you could use the include for
Is that
part of
what
your
you said,
context.
narrative? Oh, you said right.
Right, include.
Provide. You know, it's really,
My OCD does not let me.
that's okay. It's a process, so
Use,
you're good.
Okay, so.
provide.
Say hi to Donna, everybody. She has to record because she's not here.
Well elaborated event or short sequence of events.
Right.
So then are we supposed to write one and start this?
You don't have to. You don't have to.
it's
He's saying it's there it is.
Yeah.
Some things some people go to do those, they put them, you know, in more like but you don't have to repeat that.
Recount 2 or more, okay.
And you guys are got it, right?
Oh, no, I can't eat anything in there. I just made the rest of the stuff.
That's true selflessness.
I know, here, let's just shake it all up. There we go. Just that. There you go, go from that side, you get chocolate chips.
I was going to use the include. What I've used. Just put that in either way. I'm just saying that you could have added because of context.
Well, and another way to think about it too is students benefit from that being taught all by itself or in conjunction.
Always all by itself.
Yep.
Yeah, they would need to be taught.
Especially kindergarten versus.
Mm-hmm.
Well, even.
Well, our group.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's like.
Okay, you guys ready to share out really quick? Because after second grade it gets awfully complex. Okay, what are my verbs? Let's go ahead and just popcorn. Right?
Include.
Include.
Use.
Use.
Provide.
Provide. Okay, good. So what are students going to write?
Narratives.
In which they recount a well-elaborated event, a short sequence of events.
Okay.
All of
So would you guys be opposed if I put narratives as the context?
Yes.
No.
No,
we're
you would
not.
not be opposed.
Because we also did that.
We did that too.
So they're actually gonna
Well,
recount
yeah.
well-elaborated event or short sequence. Okay. What's the next one? Include.
Include.
What are they doing with that?
Details to describe actions, thoughts, or feelings.
Okay. Next.
Use.
Use. Got those
Temporal
words
words.
again. I'm just going to do dot, dot, dot. And the last one? Provide a sense of closure. That's kind of stayed consistent. Okay. So 4 learning targets for that one, right? Okay. We talked about too when you're thinking about, is this one need to be split into 2 learning targets? A good way to think about that is, would students benefit from being taught that in a lesson all by itself or several lessons all by themselves? So this just kind of helps you to think about, if I'm going to teach narratives, these are the things that I need to kind of teach separately so that they're getting all of those pieces. Okay, good. Any questions on this? Everybody got the same thing? Okay. Take a look at 3rd grade. What do you notice about 3rd grade? So this is that first year where those substandards are coming in, so in every single grade level, it's quite a jump from 2nd to 3rd. As 3rd grade teachers probably fully well know. So go ahead and give this a shot. I did list the substandards just so that you can kind of get a feel for what's happening in all of narrative writing. So go ahead and do the same thing. This one's going to take a few more minutes. Should we start charting? What is your long-term?
Top one is the big one.
So do you want the narrative stuff to be? Maybe this you can translate.
Or I could just put it.
Right.
Do you have that sheet? Because we can just.
Use that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Stick to.
You should have been charting on that.
Well, there's 2 uses, so
Yeah,
that's what you can do. Like,
So
use
Yeah,
it.
they know.
I'll just make a copy
Mhm.
from somebody.
Okay.
So do you want to? Want me to get you a chart for? Let me quickly make you a chart for.
Well, what do you have for the next ones, you mean? What do you have is... And I don't know.
It's near to
I have just...
Oh, perfect.
I don't know if I have it.
I don't know if it's
But this goes with the same thing, signal event order, and this is event sequence.
I have like
and
3 copies of the
naturally,
standards. Is
starting
that
kind of
enough? People can kind of each other, or do you take everyone
Can we
with their
get it
phone?
quickly?
And you might be able to
This
put this
is-
together.
Use dialogue.
So whatever is established and introduced, and then
And
their
this one is
mirror.
information.
I'll do that one quickly.
Thank you.
In the box.
So there's actually 3 in that one whole thing. But we can maybe add those together. Establish, organize, introduce, and organize. Let's do that.
Thanks.
So these are the establish, introduce, what are we doing that with? This is the new one. Narrator or
Then they break them into, smaller substandards.
Narrator or characters? Oh, there were more on the back. So maybe we were supposed to be placed.
Oh, okay, so I ended the box.
I'm sorry.
Box too.
Here's your stuff.
So I wonder if we should have started with this instead of using these 4, and then started up here with write narratives, and then blah blah blah. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you. I think
The first use should be.
Well, I don't know, I think that's
dialogue
kind of.
But I'm just going to circle it out.
Okay.
And underline that part,
I think the whole thing.
Yeah.
because that's the
If
only,
you are
that's
writing
the
in
only
there,
verb in
the
there.
first use, right on the nuts, yep.
I mean, it really is.
It is, it's just shortening it.
I guess you have just dialogue and description. All right, here's 4th grade.
Okay.
Unfolds.
So it would take
Sequence.
several
Events.
lessons to teach this establish.
Mhm.
Establish a situation, that's a lesson. Introduce the character,
Yes.
Organize it in
If not more, something's right.
Right, yeah.
Right.
Best case
There's a
scenario.
lot.
Yeah.
It's a big sentence for their story. Right. And that is more of it.
Absolutely.
Well, the top five.
That's all right. That's five.
Which is why
Some.
that
Let's
first
stick with
is
some.
so
That
important
works.
because it
Fine,
makes you
that's
have
good.
so much
You
easier.
were at like the story that I was yeah. And I had like,
If you guys would have wanted to 4, they're like
okay.
zooming ahead. Like, they're trying to beat you.
We're not racing.
You don't have to
Sorry.
race. We will win.
We're speedy.
Oh, look, there was more
But
boxes.
you're right. It's not
You'll
about
be
speedy.
speedy,
They were wrong.
Speedy but wrong. So we
Quality.
Telling yourself that? You'll be wrong.
We're quality.
Quality, not quantity over here.
That's right.
Well, all right. I don't sit idly without starting to totally veer off the track. So. Oh, you guys have all written down about that. Yeah.
Once you get a process, right? It's like, all right.
You got right narratives with broken narratives, but
Develop.
right, it is.
So you're writing, and then you're, with what knowledge of concepts is to develop real learning.
So are you saying develop?
I'm just doing right.
Okay.
So
I got right so far.
use.
And underlining the whole rest. Oh, organize. Is in there for you. Organize.
Orient is a hard one because you orient the reader. Okay, right. Establishing.
You got more boxes, so do you want to put organize in too? Organize? Okay, now how do you feel about develop? Do you know develop or no? Right, develop? Organize?
You really don't orient.
I think it would be just orient and then put all of the lessons that you would do. That, like before they have to establish the situation, introduce the character, and organize it.
But it's like, if this part here, if this little section was right here, like the kindergarten one, where it was just a small piece, you would have orient and introduce and organize.
Yeah.
And organize the facts.
That's the only one I need.
So it would really be 3 in just one little strand.
What did you say?
It would be
Introducing?
Orient.
Orient?
Run that by
Introducing?
me.
It's Monday.
That's what I think too. I'm with Jamie on that. That's what I thought too.
Orient, organize.
I thought write and develop too.
Put
I
one
did.
on there. You gotta have the situation, and you have to introduce a narrator, and the characters, and that's all.
We did in the last one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of boxes.
In the last one, we kept it all under. We put establish, introduce, and organize. So we should do the same thing with this one.
Yes. Animal.
Establish, introduce, and organize, not orient. Establish, introduce, and organize. That's what we did on 3 before.
Is that what you're thinking? No orient?
That's what I think.
Oh, yeah, because that's what.
Because orient's more of a descriptive word. It's not a verb. That's what you're thinking. Yeah, I agree with that too.
Yeah, so we wouldn't put that. We would put.
Establish,
So taking
introduce,
orient,
organize. Yeah.
establishing, introducing, and organizing.
Yeah.
And then the next one would be use and show.
Yep.
Great. I think I did the same thing on that one. I agree because it's kind of like the whole thing is about orient the reader, and it's kind of nebulous. But then it's like, here's how you do it. Establish, the situation.
This one would be use a variety of transition words. I think that's just use. I don't think
Yeah.
there's any other one in there.
No.
And same with the next one, use concrete words,
Yep.
phrases, and sensory details to convey experiences and perception and provide conclusion. So I think the ones that got Jordy in it are just the.
And the other are just underlined.
Yeah, I think right is. I don't think develop this.
So I'm just gonna put narratives.
Oh, that's it. We're not gonna say orient, we're gonna say.
Establish.
Establishing, introducing,
Okay.
and organizing.
They're not even talking over there.
They're not working as a team.
do it.
Given an answer.
They're on fifth grade, I think, right now. So
Yeah.
I think it should be good.
Should be
Sure that's clear.
So we're
You have to really get through this until you see it.
Isn't that interesting?
I'm writing
Because
another
they almost
box.
treat the same.
Mm-hmm.
They write it in
Yeah.
like-
So that was kind of
I'm just doing
another piece of it is it's good to see the progression, which I think will come up the next
Oh, that's a
is
lot.
too, because it's
You mean this?
okay,
You want
one,
to do it
two,
You would
I'll take a
definitely
season
not
about
be
one
one
lesson.
No, this is like a week.
See,
You know, this is
second
long.
A lot
Double
of
break.
these
You can
things
bring
we're
in that
working on
piece.
all the time.
Yeah.
Describing, we're doing describing. I just don't use this, I don't use this language. Like, I don't say adjective and
You want it done?
pretty foolish words. Very fast.
You do.
Very a lot of transitional in third grade. We touch on it.
Not to pick on it, I heard a great topic about I don't use these the vocabulary. So as we think about how they frame a test, they do go back to the standards that drive the
So we
test.
have to use that.
So the more we use the content vocabulary, the more the kids will hear it. So that doesn't matter what the test is, they'll have the same basis of understanding.
And as you dig into is the more curriculum work you do, there is a section on that template that I always include for academic vocabulary. So what words do I need to really make sure that I teach and use with kids for that purpose? And really, I don't know if you have any like English language learners in this building, but for kiddos with those, that's really important for that to be taught explicitly to them. And all kids, yeah. But how many times, have you taught something and then you said, okay, make sure that you use a narrator, and you have a kid go, what's a narrator? If you had an English, you can go, Hey guys, come on. Good. Awesome.
I just want to see what the difference is.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Fourth and fifth.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That vertical piece. Can you guys show me just how many more minutes you need? Because I don't want to cut anybody off. Oh, you're done. Okay. Oh, okay. So how I think I'll do this is I'll pop around here and have you guys kind of go back and forth with learning targets, and I'll record them so that we kind of have it all in one piece. So looking at it really, if you're not in order, it's fine.
Which one are you doing?
Let's start with third. So what's a learning target from third grade narrative writing? Anybody?
Right.
Right?
No. Yes. Right.
Establish. Will you guys go all the way across with it? Otherwise, I'll get them mixed up. So let's start with right. Right? What?
Narrative.
Okay. So do I put that for knowledge or context?
Context.
Okay. And then what's the concept?
Develop real or imagined experiences.
Good. That's the first time that language came up, right? Okay. All right. What else? Establish.
Situation. And introduce characters.
Did you guys do that together or separate it out?
We separated it out.
Okay. So I'll do this.
Box.
Yep, so, it's really up to you how you want to do that. Again, the way I think about it is, do I want to teach them together, or is it something I really want to separate out for kids and teach in a separate lesson? For me, when I kind of look at this, establish a situation, I'm not so sure that I have enough to where I can go, yeah, I could do a lesson on establishing a situation. The way I'm going to establish it is to introduce that character. So, you might combine these two. It's really kind of your call on how you interpret it. So this narrative is going to stick all the way through, so I'm not going to keep writing it. Back to this establishment, is there anything else with this one?
Organize.
Okay, I'm going to do that as an organize. Okay, organize.
Sequence.
Yep. Okay, what's another one?
Use.
Use.
Use dialogue.
Okay.
Then I put use again. And I did temporal words.
Okay. Next.
Provide. Sense of closure.
Okay. What else? Is that all you guys had? So we're gonna pull that. So we did write narratives, right? And we talked about this. What about this? Did anybody separate out using effective technique, descriptive details, and clear event sequences? That kind of went down. So when you go to do this, if you were to deconstruct the standards, that's more of like a power standard, and then those substandards are going to support you in the work of that standard. So I think it's kind of implied down here. Okay. Organize sequence. Use dialogue. I would just maybe add on to that using dialogue. I would add in the language of use dialogue and descriptions of actions, thoughts, and feelings, because that's going to help you a little bit there. Develop experiences and events. Oh, so I might also do develop experiences and events or show response to characters to situations, because that's pretty specific in that standard. And then use temporal words. Okay? Questions? All right. Let's cruise on. Do the same thing. I'll just record if you guys tell me. Start on this page. What you got?
Right.
Right. And what's the context?
Real or imagined experiences or events.
Okay. All right. Next one.
Establish.
Establish. Establish. Go ahead.
The
Situation.
situation.
Okay.
I put also characters there.
Yep, that's where they have characters and
What was that under? No, but I mean, what was establish?
We did ours under introduce.
okay. What's another one?
We did introduce, but our characters went there.
Okay. You can. Yep. I kind of see that all in one lump, right? So, however you worded it, I think establishing the situation and introducing the characters or the narrator, that would be like one learning target. Okay. What else do you have?
Organize.
Organize.
Sequence.
Sequence.
Okay. What else?
Use dialogue.
Okay.
Show.
Show.
Response. Show responses. Characters to situations.
Okay.
Use transitional words.
Is that the first time they use transition instead of
Yes.
temporal?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. What else?
Use concrete words and phrases.
That's a new one.
Sensory details.
Okay.
Provide a conclusion.
Okay. Anything else? Okay.
Now, before you go on, what I'm seeing, is, just from a writing perspective, these are great little cheat sheets for an editing checklist that you could use with the kids, so that now you've got this quick, did you do this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it flows them through the standards as well.
Yep. Yep. And there, I have some that I can share with you the next time. The C. Huckins units of study for writing, she has student-friendly checklists that get even more pinpointed down to so provide a sense of, or provide a conclusion, what needs to be in the conclusion for that to be, third grade appropriate versus second grade appropriate or whatever. Any other ones in here? Okay, is that it? Did we get it? Okay. So, or is there one more grade level? One more. All right, ready? We can do this quick. Here we go, 5th grade. What you got? Right. I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Narrative.
Okay.
Real or imaginary.
Okay. What's another one?
Establish.
Establish. Ugh.
Situation.
Okay. What was
Introduce.
it? Introduce. The characters.
Characters and narrator.
Narrator. Anything different in this language than the last time? It's the same one. Okay.
Organize.
I'm going to put those together. Organize.
Sequence.
Sequentially. Okay. Next one.
Use.
Use.
Narrative technique.
Okay. Does it list those?
Dialogue and description. Pacing.
Whoa. Okay.
This is different.
That is different. So I might split those up because I don't know that I would teach all of those to 5th graders all at once. So I might say use dialogue, right? That could be one. What's the other one?
Pacing.
Description.
Pacing. Use description. Right. Okay.
Responses.
Is it talking about-
It shows
Show.
responses
Show
of
response
characters
of the
to
characters.
situations.
Okay. That's definitely a lesson all of its own. Okay. Anything else?
Use transitional words.
Yeah.
So they have clauses.
Again, use concrete words and phrases.
Clauses is new from 5th to 4th.
Oh, okay. Is it?
Oh yeah, phrases and clauses.
Transitional words.
And phrases. Okay. Anything else?
And provide a conclusion.
Is there anything different about that one?
That follows.
No.
No, not different.
So this one says, provides a conclusion that follows from the narrated experiences or events. That I would include that language just so that they kind of know that it needs to be in there. Okay? Does this make sense? So the whole kind of idea behind this was a few things. Number one, for your grade level, now instead of having this big paragraph of stuff, it breaks it up into, okay, now I know I need to teach this. It also provides you a good look of how this flows vertically. And so some conversations that you might want to think about having in the future are, what is the academic language that we're going to use with our kids? When they come to me as 3rd graders, I can count on them knowing do. Because you and I both know when we say, did you learn this last year? They go, and they did. So having those set agreed upon where they're coming to you with the same language, it's going to save you a ton of time. So that's narrative. What I have for you guys is the informational Common Core and then the opinion. And so I'm going to task you with at your tables to kind of do the same process.
But one group's going to focus just on.
I'm going to give you guys opinion, and I'm going to give you guys informational.
But you're only going to do your grade level.
Is that how you want to do
Yes.
it?
So
Okay.
I will do. You're missing a 3rd grade over here, and we're missing a 5th grade or a 4th. Which one do you want to do Jamie, because you're a split.
It doesn't make a difference, I'll do both.
Okay, and then I'll do 5th on that table.
Okay.
So really what you'll need to do, so that you're all not doing the same work, you just have to do your grade
Okay.
for that piece of content. So this is opinion over here.
Mm-hmm.
So
you
do
guys have
your
all
grade.
the standards at your
Right.
hands, but just pick your grade out, and then do you want them to record it on here so we kind of have all of
Yes.
it?
So then if you would,
You can do it right on here, and then
Yep.
we kind of have a copy of everything.
yep, if you'll return it to me and I'll give it back to you, but I'll put it together on the web.
Got it.
Oh, and then
The
mine
third
is
one is mine. Right, and then third grade is the next page.
So we really only have to do
So if you guys want to record like here, and then we will have like a record. All of them.
Yeah, I think you have to write
piece.
all these in.
Do you have an expository?
Yeah, right.
I got the opinion. Do you have the expository?
I'm
gonna take your other-
Yeah. Somebody have a copy?
You're missing
Yeah, but it's not-
Yes, we
Okay.
Maybe just write opinion, maybe it's just a drop down. Okay, write opinion. Yeah, so that's the power.
It's okay if we decide we wanna split it, or do you want us to keep it a whole?
No, I mean, I would just think about it in the context of like, do I need to teach this separate? You know what I mean?
Okay, because for me, like this one, introduce the topic clearly. It says also group related information, paragraphs and sections. I'm not sure if I would do those together. I wouldn't, that's what I mean, I would prefer
Yeah.
to single them
Yep,
out.
so you would
Okay.
do, you know, introduce the topic clearly, and then group related information, paragraphs, and sections.
So we can just add on square.
Yes, sorry. Or on the back, or however you want to do it.
I just like right off. I just started. Yes, that's what I did. Because this is kind of what context, and so then I just started with first. Which was introduced using break it down into some.
Yeah, I think the best can all be, I'm just gonna build get into topic, give them to you, and write the organized structure. You know what I mean, but the logic and perspective can't be done as well. But now I've separated out.
Did you want to? I was just going to say I was going to do some sort of a share, but I feel like that can come after we compile everything together. Okay.
That's an important structure to do. I think that's the same thing. And then linking the opinion. I mean, that's when you're having some of the transitional words. Right.
So is this, should this be right, or is this
Oh.
powers in here? Or should this be introduced?
No.
Okay, so that is the writing.
That all goes up there.
Yeah, this is going to be your overarcher, and then
Right,
this is
I
like.
didn't put that in there. I just wrote that.
Sure.
There.
You did fourth grade. What is that?
Oh. But then.
So we should be stating the finance
I don't know, not having taught second grade. I don't know. Or if you would say something. That's probably very true. And actually, he was surprised. Wow. Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Now he's independent.
I just teach 2 grades and so I.
Trying to make it fit in your head.
Yeah.
I just have to.
It's just first grade. I'm not sure about this.
So for me, I can look at that as like, it's all about informative expository
Okay,
text.
that's what I thought. That's what I was going to put.
Okay.
This one was a development.
That's why Kathy, I think it's right.
So I developed definitions, developed the details.
Yup.
So you said it's context, right?
Yeah. And when it says or, I get really like frustrated. It's like, oh, okay, so I can choose.
Or I did, you know what I mean?
Okay, I'll do this. And I like that. I won't do this.
Right.
So you said, in what context do you write it?
So yeah, you may want to do a few lessons where they, here's how you would develop this topic. Here's how you would develop it with definitions. And then they kind of
More than one lesson.
maybe we should start right there. Maybe because too, when you think of it, there's learning targets. When they teach a learning target, so
I could see where facts and definitions could probably be wrong.
Yep.
And probably concrete details would be a different way. Notations to get those in
Or
you're talking about a lot.
You have to talk really slow.
so that's to me like, a student who
Not that I couldn't figure out how they could use their one.
kind of
Thank
use
you.
it to serve their purpose, but you may want to.
Make sure you put your grade level on top of your sheet. I'll probably figure it out. It'll make it easier.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, sorry. Good thing I didn't look at it. I'm gonna compile these.
Okay.
But then also ones.
Yeah, that'd be great. If you guys could just put your grade level at the top so that I know.
Yeah.
That's yes.
So you don't know that.
Now,
This
all
one
of this one,
adds clauses,
keep those.
and this one adds logically.
I didn't know we
It's fine.
Yes, that's scribbled. I just missed it.
I'm gonna get a copy before you leave.
You want
Their
it?
work.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'll compile it. And that way I can put it together in a document so that
Great.
that way. I know we talked about chart paper, but
Yeah.
you might be able to do it digitally and have it.
Okay.
Do you want me to take up that 20? What's that?
Yeah, this one does.
Oh, yeah.
So it's four.
Yeah.
supported by tabs.
Was there extra copies of that blank template? Did you use the
Third grade is
last one?
just.
Yes, I think you did.
Support that linking, but it's not supported by tabs. Linking words, so this one's transition and linking, and which is same as this one,
Pretty much right at the right place.
but clauses has a different form than this.
Are you able to maybe find
But third doesn't necessarily have to be.
Yeah, I
written.
You can just ask me to decide for later.
Oh,
We struggle with text when we say we're message.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I see how you do this.
And I'll grab them from you if you got your grade level at the top. And I'll
Yeah, I see how you do it.
second.
Right here. Right.
Okay.
Fourth grade really goes with that one.
Earlier. Really like to do this.
Is that right?
Yeah, because I was.
It's fun, huh?
She and I, well, we will, yes. The answer is both.
Did I get everybody's?
The star is the one that I
Awesome.
Saturday. 15 emails.
And I got yours on. Guys.
Thanks. We enjoyed working with you. We heard
Okay, so as a wrap up, can someone loan me from this table the narrative one? And I'll give that back to you. So as a wrap up, the next time when we meet will be for half an hour on a Wednesday. I think it's next week. We will look at, Jessica, the progressions. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I'll try to get these compiled and we can kind of look to see, all right, how do these build vertically in those simple learning targets? But what I have are sample grade level pieces
Good.
that are they're all written on the same topic and they build. So it's kind of like with those ones in kindergarten, first and second, where it talks about provide a sense of closure. Well, okay, the language of the standard is the same. What does a kindergarten closure look like versus a first grade versus a second grade? So these are samples of those to kind of see what it looks like.
So that will be, it's 7:45.
Oh, okay.
And then the following Wednesday after that, which is June 1st, we will then do the last piece, which is how do we start integrating this work? Because, as you know, we don't have a standalone writing block per se. So we're going to look at what research talks about, which is how do you make good meaning from it, which is the integration. So how do we build it into when you're doing science or social studies, or doing some of it, may not all with math, but a little with math, where we talk about having kids maybe state an opinion why this was the best method for doing this problem, as opposed to another way of doing it. So we'll work on that third piece for that integration. And then, as Scott mentioned, it's a great idea. This will culminate our work for the year, and then we'll let it die down and digest. And when we come back, this is something we'll quickly revisit because we'll have it all together on the website ready for you for a revisit as we move forward. Any questions for Jessica?
Thanks for having me in.
That was a terrible. I should have said, what questions might you have for Jessica?